never underestimate when like you can get your shit bumped up a little bit more, or you
Yep.
know, it's really it's really funny how much people save your ass later on too,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll never be there if you don't if you don't know who they are or whatever.
The other day, I go to that customer kept on having broken PCs, and on the monitor was a little sticky note that said, "Ask for Anthony. He's a great tech." You know. So I took a picture of it
Yeah.
and I sent it to Rookerson, Jerry, and Anthony, saying, "Hey, saw this on a customer's PC, and I think it's great that when I go into a customer and they're happy with our service, and people like Anthony keep them happy, and it makes it easier for everybody, keeps them as a loyal customer. You know, it's the whole thing."
Right.
And Anthony was just so happy that I did that because he's a quiet kid. He stays under the radar and stuff. And it's just funny because I could never see like somebody like a Rookerson because of his personality of this weird thing he's got doing something like that with like a fast, you know. And it's because I know Anthony, and I know he's quiet, and I know he doesn't ever, and I know he's good too, but I know he's quiet like that. So I know, because I know his personality, I know that helps. You know, I know it's a good thing, and he would
Right.
appreciate it. Or if I didn't know him, I was just like, okay, this is no fun.
No, it's like there's so many managers just shitty like that. Like there was, yeah, like it's
Well, I see what you do is when you're in the office, you'll go from cubicle to cubicle, just making sure everything's good, ask if they need help with anything. If you hear Louis on the phone, you go over to him and see what's going on, see if you can help him. You know, I watch you, tell him, hey, I saw you doing this, why don't we try this? And, could you imagine every manager was like that? Who actually,
most managers don't know what their people do, like at a technical level.
well,
So it's hard. It's hard. I mean, like Rook's making fun of you, but he doesn't know shit about what his people do. He probably can't even spell leadership anymore. Like. It's. But yeah, I mean, but it's also, like my opinion is like if you're gonna manage something, you should really understand it. Like you don't need to be technically superior, but you should be able to have a conversation about it. You should be able to understand what people are, because if you don't understand what people are doing, how do you understand when they're having problems? How do you understand when they're missing the deadline or whatever? How do you gauge how valuable their excuse is? Like it's so funny. Like we've got like ConnectShip is doing this paperless development stuff, and to do it you have to interact with this XML service, and it's not working. It's not working, right? And so we're like, yeah, just send us a copy of what you're sending to the server. Just log what you're sending to the server. And the product manager, so like the equivalent of James Thompson for ConnectShip, right? The project manager or owner, he says, yeah, we can't log the message because you're using a WSDL file. Even David Hart, like the technical capabilities of David Hart, right? Even David Hart starts mocking the guy, saying that his programmers are shit, right? And here he is telling us that, oh yeah, this is what he told me, we can't log it. And even me, I'm so pissed off at it, because I'm like, that is the most bullshit fucking thing I've heard in such a long time. And I just want to get in on there and berate the guy and be like, listen, your guy is giving you a lot of shit and blah blah blah, but I don't do that because there's no productivity in doing that, right?
yeah.
And so what I work on instead is I set up an alternate site that they can send a request to, and then I'll just capture everything.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well let's just do that. That's easier. And so we do that, and we find out that they're double encoding the images. So you're supposed to base64 encode it, but they're doing it twice. And he's like, yeah, my guy tells me that it's totally your fault. It's like, and I'm like, you need to revisit who you commissioned to build this, because they're. But anyway, my point is like, you know, he doesn't understand the stuff enough to know when he's being given this bullshit.
to be
you know?
useful.
And so it's just like he's just like making it my problem because he doesn't understand that it's actually his problem. You know? It's so, and that's why I think organizations get to be so shitty, because you have people like George Mindorf who believe anything that they're told, right? Because they think that they have this trusted cadre of people, and then he's like, well, I trust them, so I'll go to the end of the earth yelling about this, and then the other people just give up. You know, you just give up, and then you end up with this like institutionalized stupidity. Yeah, so Rickerson is such a bad manager.
Well, you know, it's I had this conversation. No, who was I talking? Rode or somebody, and there was a customer having an issue. Their systems were fucked up, and I was like, Rode, what happened? He's like, oh, Ray White tried installing FEB Connect. I was like, what? So I asked to talk to Ray White, and Ray White still says never got any kind of training on any of this shit at all. And so I asked Rickerson, I said, hey, listen, you know, you still got guys that don't have any training on, or ZB Connect, they don't have any knowledge. Like, who doesn't have any knowledge of it? Who doesn't know how to do it? I'm like, dude, you're the fucking manager. You don't know that half your fucking team has no clue? It's just some, it's Carlo with like people like Charisse and shit like that, and it's, you know, it's kind of like a joke in a way, but it's really like, how, where's your help with them? You know, where's your help with them? Which I think Charisse doesn't like to talk to me no more. I must have said something to her, or in a tone that I didn't realize I was doing. But she said she called me once and asked for help. She said, I know you must think I'm an idiot. Like, as soon as she said that, I was like, oh fuck, what did I say to her at one time? I must have said something bad to her one time. That shouldn't be my responsibility. It should be Carla, fuck it.
No, at the end of the day, it's still a technical job, and Carla's going to have to hire somebody eventually. And if it's because Ben leaves, or if it's because of whatever, there's going to have to be a new Faz at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just run down the team forever.
Oh yeah, exactly. When Ben leaves, even if somebody takes Ben's place, there's still going to be a fucking open place wherever they left. And there's nowhere in the country where we have an overabundance of fucking field technicians. I don't know. I'll bitch and moan about other about managers not managing correctly, but it's a position I would never ever want to have.
It's rough, man. I'll tell you that. It's rough.
I could only imagine. You know, where you are technical and you know how things can't be fixed, but there's not a fucking thing you can do about it.
You know, if I had an underperformer on my team, I would have a lot of trouble. Or they would have a lot of trouble. And I would be in trouble. Like if I had an underperformer, oh my god. If I had Charisse. Yeah, I don't know. But it's rough with the Faz organization because like you get rid of someone. And the reservation in San Carlos, please. Well, there's a San Carlos reservation, so. But I mean, like, I think the thing that makes it really hard for Carla then is that, you know, you've got such a spread of stuff. You've got people everywhere, but I don't think that's a good excuse. Like, you can't.
Well, she told me yesterday, because Chow's been really fucking weird and flaky and shit. And she told me she's right on the edge of scheduling a trip or spending a day with him, a day or two. See what the fuck he
It's
tells.
gotta be pretty bad if she wants us to travel now, right? They were willing to travel.
He's really fucking, he's either fucking crazy I know, he's gotta be crazy. His child's not stupid. But he's you know, some fucking dumb shit going on. Like Charisse, you know, Charisse is pretty fucking dumb, but she works. That's so weird. That guy could never be a fucking manager. I'd be such an asshole.
So there's this thing called the Peters Principle, which was this guy who, like in the 50s or whatever, his name was Peters, and he said that any organization that promotes based on accomplishment is prone to failure, because what you end up with is people rise to their incompetency. Right? I've always been kind of amused by that. I hope that doesn't happen to me.
I told you about the story of a guy I worked with, this guy, Jimmy. Smart guy, physically, you know, very, very physically well kept. Knew how to talk to people. You know, just an all-around very professional. Just, you know, everything about one of those people. You're just like, you know, he's got all his shit together. And we used to have these in civil service. You go for sergeant test, lieutenant test. And everybody's like, Jimmy, why do you not ever take the sergeant's test? And his answer every time was, I would be useless. Right now, I'm at my most useful capacity. You know, as a sergeant, as a lieutenant, I step into something that I'm no longer useful for. I always thought that was just kind of funny. But no matter what company you go to or anything or any organization, it seems to be it's the Jerrys and the Jameses that, you know, move up and become decision makers.
There's this other thing that I was reading recently about like organizational theory from like the 50s, which is, it's funny how much is old, and you like think that stuff changes, but it doesn't really. And they had like a pyramid of people to explain like management and such. And what it was there's three groups of people. I can't remember what it was, but it was the sociopaths, the losers, and then the third group. And the sociopaths were the people who just wanted success at any cost, basically, right? And they're the ones who end up in management because they're the ones with ambition. And you have the losers are the ones who've decided that it's more valuable to them to just get a paycheck than it is to pursue anything in particular. So they're just people who've kind of given up in a way. Like they just want to be the cog. They just want to get through it. And like I'm not doing a great job of explaining because I don't remember it all. But like
no, I've read something like that too. Yeah, the three different. And then there's the what was the third one?
I don't remember.
No, there was the administrators, the workers. Administrators, workers, maybe decision makers or managers. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Because I was reading something, not the same thing, but it was the same similar idea. They didn't use losers as sociopaths, but it was the same idea. And then there's that third.
But yeah, like Rookerson's where he's at because thinks he needs it, and maybe he does if he's got 3 kids. You know, and he's like, his goal is to like push hard because he needs that. Like he's driven.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jerry's driven probably just to not come across as a slob to his wife who's a doctor and everything.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't want to come across, and I don't know. He's a vain person, right? And James, I don't know, James still seems kind of driven in a way. Like if James wasn't driven, he'd be Ray White.
Well, but you know, see, this is why I kind of like James. See, I read not the same thing like you said, but something similar to that, the whole theory of it. That I came up with my own, which is people that are driven by. There's people driven by money. You know, the people who like the bonuses, who like the raises, who like
Bylaws, home of the Apaches.
So they're driven by the the money incentives. Then you get people who are driven by title, power incentives, where they're the same people who would be happy making the same amount of money as long as they had more power over more people. That would make them happy. And then you have the people who are happy with the challenge of the daily work. And I think those are the 3 motivators for. Jerry would be the. I don't know if he would be the money, or like you said, the maybe a combination of the money and the power thing, because this fucking Japanese wife, where the fuck is she? She's got to go to which when they start on about her mom. I don't know. That was just really weird. But I think James is motivated possibly by the challenge that he gets, which I think is good. That's why I don't dislike the guy as much as I used to.
No, but I mean, if somebody who's in over their head have the opportunity to rise to the challenge, and he tries. He's just, I don't know. He says things that kind of betray his ability to understand things.
Oh yeah, well,
Geronimo. I didn't know there was a Geronimo Urza.
I knew there was, but I never,
There's a swastika. Nice.
Was that a swastika? No, yeah, you hear them say, those keywords that people say, make it sound like they know what they're talking about when they fucking have no clue. One of my favorites is algorithm. For like 3 weeks, everything was an algorithm. I was doing a fucking array, a carriage return array, and she told me I should figure out the algorithm for it. I was just like, no fucking idea. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not even kidding. That was the subject. Fucking input box array, and she was telling me I should figure out the algorithm of putting in a database. Yeah. Yeah, James is. So with Steve, is it almost like you brought him in, did the interview for a position, but right now it's almost as if it's not a guaranteed position?
What do you mean?
Like the position you have for your new hire, is it approved? Like you definitely have that position? Like
I thought I did. No, there's just some administrative hurdles that are left, and an offer has to be made and stuff. So I thought that was all going to happen this week, but I don't know. I'm waiting on Jerry to wait on some other people.
Is there any problem with specifically having Steve take it?
No. No, it's just I want to make sure I'm ethical and everything, but
yeah.
No, the problem right now is that fucking HR doesn't have Ian's approval. But Jerry assures me that Ian approves, and so it's like HR needs a fucking email for me and saying I approve. And so Ian's not replying to HR's emails or the email that they sent him. So they're like, well, have Hank do it. Have Hank go get it. Because that's typically what has to happen in this kind of situation.
Right.
So like I'm waiting on Jerry to wait on Hank to wait on Ian. Once that comes together, then they're gonna make the offer, and we'll see what happens. But like, yeah. So it's like a bullshit sort of approval thing. It's not really much different from when I was interviewing for the 3PB position. There was the girl in Canada who flew down. And I had to get approval for her to to pay for her flight and everything. And, so like we had to get that approved from Stephen Fenwick too, because it was an international flight. Even though it was only $300, it was still an international flight. So we had to get Stephen Fenwick's approval. And, yeah, you're just waiting for them, and they like reply on their BlackBerry. It's like approved. So it's like Hank needs to send him something and be like, hey, you see that email I sent you? Reply to it, please.
Whenever we gotta do our job, we gotta do the same fucking thing with Jerry. We just need something that says approved.
Yeah. So it's just that kind of thing, and I think part of it too is like Jerry was in CVG for training or whatever, and I don't know where everyone else was in terms of availability. What bothers me is that this is like so now I'm to the point now, because I understand this process more, or I've been through it enough. I'm to the point now where like if I want Louis to get access to a different system or something like that, I'm like, Louis, send me an email, I'll approve, and then put in the ticket and attach the approval to it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's like that just greases the wheels completely, and I don't understand. I'm actually a little bit upset. I want to get in Jerry's face. I want to be like, how many times have you done this? How come you didn't get this already? Why do we have to wait till now?
Yeah.
Why do we have to wait till now? Why did we lose a goddamn week? Because of what, right? How come this isn't something you said to yourself, oh, hey, let's get that from, that bothers me.
Yeah, talking about the stupid email approval thing. We have a third guy in ILN sending the equipment out. So I didn't even fill out that stupid